The gnomes are still looking happy despite the wet and the cold, even though their home is falling to pieces. They've still got a smile on their faces. Plenty of water in the stream now, although I have seen a lot more. Still lots of remnants of the fairy trail scattered around. The woodland therapy site isn't looking too bad. No sign of the robin yet, but I'm hoping he'll make an appearance. It's all looking a bit bedraggled over here now after all the wind and the rain. Still a few little flowers around. I'm pretty sure that's Enchanter's nightshade, although it's hard to say now, it's looking so bedraggled. The willow herb is all starting to change colour now. You can see the reds and oranges just starting to come in. Still a few bits of Himalayan balsam around. Ooh. And there's a little bird just flown into the undergrowth over on the far side. I've got no idea what it was, but I just caught a glimpse of it out of the corner of my eye. And here's a bridge that needs no introduction, the world famous Pixie Bridge. Well, it's famous in Treherbert anyway. Someone has hung a few bird feeders up in the tree here. One of them is empty, but the one on the left hand side has got a few nuts in it. So I'm going to step back a little bit and hide behind one of the trees and see if anything does come down to it. I've got quite a good vantage point here, so let's wait a few minutes and see what happens. I can hear lots of birds around, but whether they'll make an appearance we shall see. Well, I've waited a while, I can still hear lots of birds, but nothing's made an appearance. So let's move on and look for something else. Nice little patch of fungus here. That lovely. I love the patterns it makes. It's a bit like waves rippling on a sandy beach. But that's the only resemblance to summer over here today, I can assure you. How peaceful is that? How magnificent is that tree? Look at the size of it. Well, I've been out of the house for almost an hour now, and as you can probably tell, I'm still only metres away from the Pixie Bridge. But that's what happens when you're out in the woods, out in the fresh air and in nature, enjoying yourself. You get distracted watching the leaves and the blowing in the breeze, listening to the birds, just looking at the nature all around you, and it's easy to get lost in time. It's a great place to come and just relax and bathe in the forest. If any of you have been reading my blog, I've been posting photos of this sycamore and showing how it's been growing over the season, and now the leaves are starting to turn colour as well. There's not as many autumn colours here as I expected today. Everything is still pretty green, but this sycamore looks lovely. Coming to a fork in the path now, so I'm going to take the left hand path, but I might come back and take the other path in a while. I could do a circular walk from by here. I'll see what the path is looking like. It might be a bit too muddy, it gets very muddy up on top. I just love that view, looking in through the trees. This path isn't nearly as muddy as I expected it to be. It was far worse last time I came over here. I can't get my video to focus on them properly, but those wooden like seed heads that you can see, that's the last of the wood evens. They're all dying back now. They've got lovely little yellow flowers in the spring and the summer, and they're a great pollinator. The bees love them. Another fork in the path coming up, and I'm going to take the left hand path again. And this path will take me down to the stream. I think this is a cottonista, and I'm not 100%. There are a few different types, and I think this is one of them. But can you see that? It's got just one orange leaf. All the rest are green, and just that one leaf is orange. And that noise, in case you're wondering, is a train just passed from Cwmsaerbren station. Isn't that mad? Loads of tiny little fungus coming on the trees. Can you see them? I hope my phone is picking them up properly. They're fab. And look at these. There's loads of them. Aren't they glorious? I don't think you're going to be able to see that on the video, but I spent half an hour on my knees on the wet muddy ground and moss photographing some mushrooms, and I've just noticed there's a little aphid on this one. Really gorgeous, so cool. Okay, I've spent far too long kneeling on muddy ground photographing mushrooms, or possibly toadstools, and an aphid. So back on the path now. I'm walking down towards the stream. The reason I'm looking down and not at my phone is because I got to watch my foot in here. It's not steep, but it's enough to stumble over the loose stones if I'm not careful. And believe me, I'm good at stumbling. So I'm down by the ford now, by the crossing point. I'm not going to cross today. I wouldn't be able to do it without getting my feet wet, and I want to stay out for a bit longer yet. It's not the weather to be hanging around for hours with wet feet. And as you can see, it started to rain again. So there's a path opposite me that's fairly steep but also short, so I'm going to walk up there onto the top path and then double back that way. Almost at the top of the path now. Bit more of a scramble than I expected because it's quite slippery with all the wet leaves, but I had to stop and show you this little cottonista covered in orange berries. And just up there is the end of the path. And looking back that way is the way I've come. So you can just about possibly make out the stream down below me. So it's not a long path, it's only 2 minutes. Same cottonista as the berries are on. And I pointed out that one of the leaves on the cottonista further down only had one orange leaf. This has got one branch of orange leaves. Isn't that gorgeous? As you can probably hear, it's raining quite heavily now. So I'm going to make my way up to the top of the path and make my way home. Up on the top path now and heading down this way. So I'm sheltering under the beech tree that I photographed earlier. It is absolutely hammering down now, but it's not too bad here. By the time I get home, I'll have done about 2 miles and been out for about 2.5 hours. So not the most productive walks, but as for being outside, forest bathing, out in nature, it's been absolutely fantastic. Not as many birds and bugs and beasties as I would have thought, probably because of the weather. But I did see that one little brown bird just flying off into the distance, and I've seen one little aphid. The toadstools have been fantastic. Listening to the wind and the rain on the leaves has been incredible. That's one of my favourite things to do this time of year. It's just been wonderful. So the last stretch now over the Pixie Bridge and home, unless of course I see something else that takes my fancy, in which case hopefully it won't be too wet for me to get my camera out again. Final shot of the willow herb before I cross over the railway line back into Cwmsaerbren. I swear these have changed colour since I walked over here this morning. Seems to be a lot more orange in them now. What can I say? I'm easily distracted. Just spotted this as I'm walking around the corner to the railway line. Who'd have thought something so pretty could be so invasive? Such a horrible plant, the Japanese knotweed. But doesn't it look lovely? And that really is my last for the day. Unless of course something else takes my fancy.